she's amazing. Are you ever going to grow your hair long? Maybe. Do you think the planet is flat? I was watching a conspiracy. We were watching a conspiracy theory the other night, and let me tell you, we were watching, was it Shane Dawson? Anyway, guys, there are so many facts that it's flat. I mean, think about it. Like, think about it. Like, okay, guys, you don't even know. You don't even know. I think I am what do they call it? I think they call it a flat earther. Anyway. Yeah. I'll be riding, say you'll never ever leave from beside me, 'cause I
Welcome back, folks. Now, I interview a lot of special people on this program, from doctors to porn stars. I'd like to highlight the truly interesting characters this city has to offer. Our next guest, or guests rather, are a pair of, or is a pair, of Siamese twins who disagrees, or disagree about, fuck it. Ladies and gentlemen, twin sons, Stanley and Tobey.
Ow! Ah! Ah!
So, you two are brothers?
We're brothers.
Ah, I see. And how did you two meet?
We're brothers.
Well, I understand you two are in disagreement about something. What could that be?
That's correct, Chip. Frankly, it's tearing us apart, in more ways than one.
He thinks the Earth is flat.
He thinks the Earth is a globe.
Your only argument is that you can't prove it's not round.
Well, you can't prove it's not flat.
Well, there's dozens of theories, like gravity and stuff.
Those are literal theories, which means you can't prove them.
Flat earther.
Globo homo.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Easy, fellas. Huh. This is quite the pickle, Rick. I mean, since you already know that Globey Tobey over there is already correct for all the reasons that no one has ever thought twice about a question before, let's let Flat Stanley share his thoughts. And try to be brief. Let's cover this in 15 minutes flat.
Thank you, Chip. Let's begin at the most basic level of proof of the Earth being flat. The horizon line. Look over there.
Over there? Where the Earth meets the sky?
Yeah. Looks flat, isn't it?
Hey, yeah. He makes a good point.
You ever look out a plane window, or the top of a skyscraper? Looks the same everywhere on Earth. Go to a beach, or any large open area, and you'll find this to be the same. For example, the Chicago skyline can be viewed perfectly from the flat sea level at 60 miles away in Lake Michigan, which would be impossible if the Earth was a globe. According to the most popular curvature formula used to support globe Earth, 8 inches times miles squared, the Chicago skyline should be 2,400 feet below the visible horizon, which it's not. Similarly, the Suez Canal, which completed construction in 1869, covers 120 miles of flat surface, allowing zero room for curvature in its construction. Additionally, the Federal Aviation Administration uses the flat Earth model when training its pilots at the Target Generation facility. Theoretically, an airplane traveling at 500 miles per hour would have to manually overcompensate for a curvature drop of 2,777 feet every single minute to maintain cruising altitude.
Whoa, bringing out the big guns, using facts and logic and real-world examples. Shapiro mode, baby. Now, aside from these simple, personal observations that each individual can make on their own, what major groups support the flat Earth proposition?
Well, Chip, I'm Catholic.
Okay. So's Candy Bubbles. The ex-porno star. Doesn't mean she's a flat earther. Where are you going with this?
Because anyone who has read any scripture knows that God made the earth under the firmament, or arch, of heaven. Genesis 1:7, Job 38:14, Psalm 93:1, Daniel 12:3. Picture a disk with some continents in a body of water, surrounded by ice in a small space that contains the stars and the sun and the moon. Yeah, looks like that.
Oh my god, dude, you can't use Bible verses as evidence. I'm an atheist and only believe in real science, like vaccines, dinosaurs, and evolution. Do you have a source for that? Maybe like a scientific peer-reviewed study, one that isn't from Fox News or somewhere I disagree with?
Okay then, let's go a little later in history, after the Bible. How come the most advanced civilizations ever, like the ancient Greeks, Egyptians, and Germanics, whose many scientific breakthroughs we still use today, all concluded on a flat Earth model, without ever coming in contact with one another?
Ooh, excellent point, Stanley. Way to play devil's advocate.
Literally.
because the polytheistic Greeks are burning in hell.
I mean, yeah, sure. Those white civilizations like Greece and Egypt had plenty of scientific breakthroughs and inventions we still use today. But those enlightened A10 philosophers and kings have caused a lot of horrible things too. Like the anti-Semitic hate group Golden Dawn, or the Percy Jackson books. Sure, they had Aristotle, Homer, and Archimedes, but we have Neil deGrasse Tyson, Bill Nye, and Carl Sagan. They're so independent and free-thinking, that's why they were all paid for by well-known pedophile TV executives.
Alright. Calm down, Globey McGuire. Okay, Stanley. So, any Christian that claims to follow the Bible has to believe in a flat earth, and any intelligent person with a firm grasp on history also has to subscribe to the firmament model. But what about the rest of the population? Democrats? Do you have a source that closed-minded liberals can agree with?
Well, Chip, if the feminazis and Antifa snowflakes at home don't believe in the Bible or racist history textbooks, then who will they believe? Maybe the KGB?
Hang on, Stan. Are you saying that the KGB, also known as the Committee for State Security, who acted as the secret police force of the Soviet Union from 1954 until the dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991, was full of flat earthers?
Oh, yup. Declassified documents that the CIA stole from the KGB claimed they weren't sure of the shape of the Earth, so they tested their equipment, a visual photometer, a photoelectric halo photometer, that were, quote, intended for measuring the brightness of the firmament, confirming that they, too, believed in the firmament as proposed by the Bible.
Wow. Checkmate, atheists.
That's not all. Their research may have been conducted without them knowing the surface of the Earth, but their findings measured the sun's rays to be perpendicular across the Earth's surface. They took this consideration and concluded that their best assumption was that the Earth must be flat.
Hey, 1954 to 1991, that's when the space race took place. From 55 to 75, they were in a chase. The USSR thought, just in case, took the USA and went face to face. The Soviets, of course, were a disgrace. Whether it was their weak database or their faulty systems interface, the US put man in aerospace. That was the true coup de grace, and then made Sputnik blow up in their face.
Take it easy, Globey Hooper. But he's right, Stanley. Well, sure, maybe the Soviets launched Sputnik into space using a flat Earth model. But who was it that won the space race?
America, motherfucker.
Oh, you mean NASA?
Wait, come on. What's wrong with NASA?
What isn't wrong with NASA? Satanic Freemason founders, fraudulent photos, faking the moon landing?
I think now's a great time to talk about the moon landing.
In a moment, Chip. First, let's go off the basis that we can trust NASA and believe everything they say. If this were true, then their formulas were also based on a flat Earth assumption, used in their construction of rockets, planes, and other aerospace vehicles. None of these are cheap endeavors, and NASA's space missions are purportedly very expensive, with the Curiosity mission costing $2.6 billion, the Cassini mission costing $3.3 billion, and the current Hubble era coming in at a price tag of $14 billion. Why would engineers, physicists, and the federal government spend so much money on such expensive equipment based on the assumption of a flat, non-rotating Earth if they didn't believe in it themselves?
Huh. That really activates my almonds. But that means anyone who trusts NASA and believes whatever they have to say is unknowingly a flat Earth supporter. But that only covers the elderly, who believe everything the government tells them, boomers, who believe everything the news companies tell them, and millennials, who believe everything their college professors tell them. But what about Gen Z, who have had unrestricted access to the largest source of independent information for their entire lives?
You're absolutely right, Chip. Studies show that 18% of Americans from age 18 to 34 believe the moon landing didn't really happen, compared to just 8% in ages 35 to 54 and only 3% in ages over 54.
So, younger generations who constantly have access to smartphones, laptops, and smart intelligent PIDs, which allow them to research and retrieve info from an infinite number of amateur, independent sources who aren't paid out corporations and have nothing to gain from lying, are the most skeptical of a massive government organization and its shady origins. But why is that?
You just answered why.
No, I meant, like, why NASA specifically? Why them? Like I was trying to do a Carlson thing?
Well, first, let's look at some of NASA's numbers in accordance with the number 666, which, as you all know, is the number of the beast. According to NASA, the Earth revolves around the Sun at 66,600 miles per hour. Based on globetard logic, the amount of curvature in 1 mile of Earth's surface squared would be 0.666 feet. If the Earth was a giant ball on an axis, its axial tilt would be 23.4 degrees. Subtracted from a 90-degree right angle would be 66.6 degrees. The Arctic Circle would be located at 66.6 degrees north, while the Antarctic Circle would be at 66.6 degrees south. Peggy Whitson, the first female commander of the ISS, and as we all know, women are inherently evil, spent 666 days in space over the course of 3 missions, the most of any American. The diameter of the moon is supposedly 2,160 miles, which is 6 times 6 times 60. The surface temperature of Uranus is negative 216 degrees, which is negative 6 times 6 times 6. Their alleged speed of sound is 666 knots. The ball Earth's polar circumference is 21,600 nautical miles, which is 6 times 6 times 600. The orbit of Mars is 1.666 astronomical units. A common synodic period for planets is 46.66 days. Also, the NASA logo looks like the serpent's tongue.
Okay. What if NASA was founded by 33rd degree elder Freemasons? You know what else was? America.
He's right, Stanley. It's well known that George Washington, Ben Franklin, Paul Revere, John Hancock, John Marshall, and Ernest Borgnine were all Freemasons that performed satanic blood rituals and child sacrifices, and look how America turned out. I guess we shouldn't trust NASA either, should we?
Yeah. And if the Earth was flat, wouldn't you just fall off the edge?
Actually, as you can see by the model we showed earlier, the firmament and the waters are contained by an ice wall, which you may know as Antarctica.
Oh, brother. Literally.
Antarctica is, according to the apocalyptic one world government, the only continent without a native human population. However, the Greeks proposed that located beyond this icy realm is Hyperborea, a divine land that we really don't have time to get into. Anyway, in 1946, the United States Navy commenced Operation High Jump, a mission to Antarctica to test weapons and equipment in a colder climate. Many believe that this is when the ice wall was discovered. Almost a decade later, in 1955, Operation Deep Freeze began and was quickly ended for unknown reasons, most likely due to the discovery of the firmament. Shortly after, in 1958, NASA was founded, and the next year the Antarctic Treaty was established, which remains intact to this day with signatures from over 50 countries preventing visits to Antarctica from any nation. Clearly, something is in Antarctica that the United Nations don't want the public to know about. You know, like the ice wall that would further validate flat Earth research?
So what if the most powerful and evil countries in the world got together and decided no human should step foot in Antarctica? We haven't been to the ice wall, but we have been to space. Wouldn't that contradict your stupid firmament idea?
Jeez, chill out, Globey from The Office.
You're not even trying anymore.
I hear what you're saying, Tobey. As much as I love this conversation, I feel it's only appropriate to bring up how the moon landing was faked. Let's shift gears to one of the most popular conspiracy theories, the 1969 Apollo 11 moon landing hoax. Moon landing theories have been growing in popularity since the event allegedly took place, especially following statements made by Bill Kaysing, a senior technical writer for a NASA contractor, in the 1976 publication of his book, We Never Went to the Moon. First off, any self-respecting cinephile is familiar with Christopher Nolan's 2014 Kino epic, Interstellar. This film was executive produced by Kip Thorne, a Caltech graduate, theoretical physicist, and Nobel Prize laureate in physics. Kip Thorne, an award-winning scientist, was heavily involved in the production, acting as Nolan's scientific consultant to ensure the information about space was accurate. In the film, the theories proposed that the Apollo moon missions were faked in order to bankrupt the Soviet Union, a popular belief amongst moon landing deniers. Second, one of the more widely known theories is that Stanley Kubrick, director of the legendary sci-fi space adventure 2001: A Space Odyssey, hastily filmed the moon landing in a Hollywood studio based on the improper light dispersion, absence of stars from the background, reused backgrounds with different foregrounds, and the poorly layered crosshairs in the camera's footage. Thirdly, this is simultaneously the most and least shocking of all, NASA's own story just doesn't add up. The Apollo missions were a disaster from day one, with 3 astronauts in Apollo 1 being killed due to a fire. More on that later. Famed astronaut Neil Armstrong almost died in a horrific freak accident practicing the lunar landing in May 1968, just a year prior to the alleged moon landing. Now, despite a practice run on Earth nearly killing him, and being technologically behind every other country in the world at the time, Armstrong and crew were magically able to perfectly pull off the first successful moon trip without any issues whatsoever.
Ha, we got you flat on your ass now.
Adding to the sus of it all, we haven't even been back to the moon since 1972. Yes, that's right. Even if NASA had miraculously sent a dozen astronauts 240,000 miles to the moon and back, they've somehow managed to kill more than that, with 14 astronauts dying through the shuttle program alone, despite never exceeding 200 miles above the Earth's flat-ass surface. And we can't go back, despite the advances in technology in every other field from over 40 years ago. According to NASA, this is because of the Van Allen belts, a large patch of lethal radiation that will most certainly kill anyone that passes through it. The belts are named after genius space scientist James Van Allen, who brilliantly suggested nuking the belts with bombs through Operation Dominic and Operation Fishbowl in 1962, 7 years before Apollo 11. Unfortunately, this only added more radiation to the belts, so although the belts were definitely known about and even more radioactive in '68, they weren't a problem for moon travel until NASA stated in 2005 that radiation is the reason we can't go back to the moon.
Oh, well then why don't we just use the equipment from the moon landing in 1968? Sure, it's a little archaic, but if it was able to bypass the radiation in a way that modern spacecrafts can't, then maybe...
Well, that's because NASA destroyed it. Yup. The most amazing scientific journey in the history of mankind, and amazingly, all of the original footage, blueprints, and hardware are listed as destroyed or lost by NASA themselves.
Oh.
Getting a little flat-footed there, eh, Tobey?
Not to mention all the mysterious deaths surrounding NASA's critics and skeptics, like astronaut Gus Grissom, who was heavily critical of the Apollo program and was one of the astronauts that died in the Apollo 1 fire, or NASA safety inspector Thomas Barron, who after just 1 week of critically reporting on the disastrous state of the program, was tragically killed in a car accident.
What did any of that have to do with the Earth being flat?
Nothing. I just think it's cool.
But, oh come on, this is stupid. Everyone knows the Earth is a globe. Science has come so far in the past few centuries. That's why we know more stuff, so we can learn from our mistakes. So what if NASA spent $22 billion of taxpayers' money in 2020 alone on a couple of pictures that look like wireframe CGI special effects mock-ups from a Marvel movie? At least we can see something we'll never ever have a use for. Look, Stanley, let's say the Earth is flat. So what? How will it ever affect you or your life? What difference does it make? Why does it matter? What do scientists in the government and the Zog of the NWO have to gain by lying about the shape of the Earth?
You a little boy to me. Let's look at this issue as two sides of the same flat coin.
All coins are flat, dumbass.
Now, your side believes the Earth is a globe. That even though monkeys are around today and none of the interspecies missing links are, we're just a bunch of monkeys on a spinning ball in a solar system, in an infinite space. This means that the Earth and you are not special. You're just one of billions of people on trillions of planets that just have to have life on them, despite no proof that we aren't alone in this universe. You have no proof for any of this, and just accept whatever scientists in the news and corporations tell you to keep you feeling miserable and dumb and not special. Now, my side believes the Earth is flat, that the sun and the moon orbit above us, as we can see, and that humans and Earth and all of its observable beauty are special and at the center of everything. That we have a wonderful home here on Earth that we need to focus on and take care of, and not look out to the stars for a safe haven we can't even get to. I believe the Earth is flat from what I see with my eyes, and what I can feel in my heart. I don't need scientists whose opinions are paid for, or the TV whose opinions are paid for, or the textbook companies whose opinions are paid for, to tell me I'm not special. I know I'm special, and so is God's green earth.
Well, Stanley, you sold me. Folks, we're going to cut to commercial in just a moment and have Tobey take a lie detector test to see if we converted him into accepting that the Earth is flat. We'll be right back.
In the prehistoric realms of East Asian athletic competitions, like ping pong or fireworks, there exists an ancient Mongolian proverb, "I am only human." Well, what if you could be more than human? What if you could run faster than an LO series maglev work camp bullet train? What if you could work harder than a 30-year-old Soho-dwelling urbanite with a brown beard, slight beer gut, and a growing addiction to amphetamines? What if you could be a robot? That'd be pretty cool, I think. What if you could throw farther than a Stalinist cross-genetic hybrid offspring between former Dallas Cowboys quarterback Tony Romo and a silverback gorilla? Well, thanks to Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, all of that and more is possible. Introducing new Florange juice from the makers of Fluoride Juice. Packed with enough caffeine to blow out the heart of a prize-winning racehorse, and enough fluoride to coat your teeth with a lethal amount of nth metal strength, each quarter-gallon serving of Florange juice contains just 700 calories, 250 milligrams of sodium, 500% of your daily recommended dose of added sugars, and your entire daily serving of vitamin D, giving it that natural orange glow from untested artificial colors. Now you can get back in the game, finish the big clients, play as a team, or sell 90% of your free time to a faceless corporation that does not care about you. Serve your Techno King well as just another cog that never stops working. Never stop working. Never stop working. With new Florange juice from the makers of Fluoride Juice, proudly presenting new labels with sleek, simplistic, easy-to-identify corporate rebranding and all your favorite flavors. Fluoride Juice, new Fluoride Juice retro throwback logo, and new Florange Juice. Collect them all either by shopping in your local grocer or online through a Tor algorithm darknet IP trawl. Never stop working. Be more than human. Fluoride juice.
And new from the makers of Fluoride Juice, introducing Microplastics Drink. Same tap water you know and love, with credit cards worth of microplastics in every bottle. Only available in China and India. Results may vary.
And we're back with our lie detector results. In the matter of Flat Stanley and Globey Tobey, you are not a flat earther.
You fucking idiot! You goddamn retard!
Piece
You
of
stupid
shit,
flat earther
you
motherfucker! Fuck off!
Fuck you, fucking piece of shit, motherfucking bitch! I'd kill you if you weren't part of me.
I hate you,
Get
mother.
the fuck
Your
out
mother.
of
I hate you. You're such a contrarian, and you think you're so smart for listening to NPR and watching John Oliver clips on YouTube.
You're so full of shit. You just have a fucking God complex because you listen to Arctic Monkeys at the gym.
All right, Chip, do it. We had a deal. Do it.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
Oh, what? Were you gonna kill me for disagreeing with you? What are you, a Biden voter?
I'm not gonna kill you. This globe Earth nonsense has been tearing us apart in more ways than one for too long. Do it. It's 2021. Down to Bush. White boy summer. If you don't agree with me, I'm cutting you off. If you don't think the Earth is flat, I legitimately wish but nothing but extreme pain and misery on you.
Hey, we didn't even talk about how aliens aren't real.
Oh, they're just fallen angels to deceive the public after the rapture.
Oh, for the love of Jah!